Okay, so it's Monday, and you might be sitting down at your kitchen table trying to figure out or come up with some meal ideas for the next few days. So I just thought I'd jump in today with a few suggestions that I have no problem using for myself that may be of interest to some people listening, and they're not that expensive and they're budget friendly, and in my opinion, delicious. And of course, you could always put your twist on the meal. So why don't we talk about this as soon as I get back? Back in a minute. Good morning. Good morning. This is Jan from New York City. Channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. And I truly love, love, love helping everyone keep some more of their own hard earned money. Could that possibly be you? I hope so. How's everybody doing today, bright and early on this Monday morning? Some people think of Monday as the drudge day. I think of it as a clean slate, a new start, time to dig our heels in and get back to business and get started to work. And one of the things that I personally like to do is I like to get a grip on what is coming up in this week's arena for meal planning. I like to do that. Not everyone does, but I like to. And if you're like me, well, maybe you like to as well. Here's a great suggestion for a meal, and it is chicken stew. I have to tell you, my mother, bless her heart, she used to love my homemade chicken stew, and it's such a nice break from, let's say, beef stew or some other type of stew. This is good if you enjoy chicken. Get the parts that's on sale that work for you, okay, at your particular juncture. Use up what you have, of course. If you have boneless, skinless thighs, I like to work with that for the chicken stew. And then I'm telling you, it's just so simple to make. It really, really is. You just do a basic stew the way you would as if a beef stew. What I like to do is I like to saute my boneless, skinless chicken thighs in a little bit of oil with a little bit of touch of garlic. That's what I like to do. And I'm not cooking it through entirely. I am just basically browning it. And this is one of those things that ends up in my crock pot. Hello. Then I like to put in my veggies. I like to enter into the crock pot a couple of cups of water, some powdered bouillon. You could throw in some onion. You put in whatever vegetables you like. Mixed vegetables work for me. I like to cube up some potatoes, fresh potatoes, throw that in there, and a little bit of tomato sauce, like that little can. And like I said, couple of cups of the water and whatever other flavoring you like to use or vegetable you like to use, you put that in there. You let it sit there. I like to throw it on high for a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours, and by 3 hours it's perfect and cheap, easy, fast. Throw together. I mean, just basically, browning up your chicken for a minute or two, a few minutes, and then you're entering it into your slow cooker. I love slow cooker meals, especially in the beginning of the week when I have a ton of other stuff to do, like, let's say, record some shows or write the shows. There you go. So, chicken stew is a great thing. Get a ton of leftovers on it, and that's always a good thing. The weather is tough outside, nothing like a hot bowl of stew. And it's really, really good because it's a little bit of a break from the beef. So there you go. All right, so that's one suggestion. Another night suggestion, and by the way, these meals are interchangeable with either lunch or dinner. So it doesn't have to be confined to dinner, could be for lunch. Just saying, just saying. All right, next, baked macaroni and cheese. Do you have a favorite baked macaroni and cheese that's your go-to recipe? So maybe like it slipped your mind that something quite rather inexpensive, like your homemade macaroni and cheese. Some people don't even want to do it from scratch. They're happy with the box version. If you're happy with the box version and you have some of it sitting in your pantry, well, whip up the box version if that's what you want. Have a little bit of a salad on the side or some string beans or whatever, and you got yourself a very reasonably priced, inexpensive meal. Like I said, using the stuff that you have is very, very key. Use what you have and work with what you have and avoid that trip to the grocery store. There you go. Turkey or beef meatball soup. I've fallen in love lately with ground turkey. I know I mentioned it recently on another video because it's true. So what I like to do now that I've fallen in love with it, I like to make my miniature meatballs, which I can throw in anything. I could throw it with baked ziti. I could throw it into a soup or even a stew if I want. I make them ahead of time and I freeze them and I use them as needed. So this is a really good step in general. It's a good method. So if you enjoy like adding your meatballs, could be miniature size, it could be regular size, make them up in advance and wrap them carefully and freeze them. Label it and put them in the freezer. Use as needed. It is so nice to have them readily available at your disposal for your use. So, turkey or beef meatball soup is just so good. So, again, you're entering your basic soup ingredients. Again, you're using either beef bouillon or vegetable bouillon or chicken, and then, of course, a few cups of water. You add up the amount of people you're serving and you add up the right vegetables that you have at hand, and you got yourself a nice little soup. You could also always add your favorite. I like to break up like thin spaghetti noodles and throw it in. That works for me. Everybody's different. Everybody's taste is different. Some people prefer to add rice. It's totally fine. See, people don't. Some people don't include anything. They don't include the rice or the noodles, or if they prefer, they might throw beans in there. Whatever works for you is what works. Again, for me, I like to add that little can of tomato sauce. It just gives it a brighter. To me, it gives that broth a brighter taste. So for me, I like it. Some people like to add chopped celery in there. Whatever works. Soup is so filling, and it is indeed a budget stretcher. Next, definitely on a rainy day. Don't ask me why, but eating this makes me feel younger. Grilled cheese. And it doesn't have to always be American cheese. You can put in your other favorite grilled cheese of choice. Be more sophisticated cheese, could be Swiss cheese or Munster. Grilled Munster cheese is really, really good. So grilled Munster cheese, you can have tomato soup on the side. It doesn't always have to be tomato soup. You can have your own favorite leftover soup that you made the day before. Get it? So it sort of piggybacks on the previous meal. You're not opening up another can, you already have some. So you could do a grilled cheese sandwich. Again, remember these meals are interchangeable. It could be for lunch, it could be for dinner. At lunch, maybe just serve less of something, okay? And at dinner, you have more of an impacting dinner. Next, another meal suggestion, breakfast for dinner. It could be a savory breakfast or it could be a sweet breakfast, for example, like French toast or pancakes. Some people want to have a little protein added. You have pancakes with sausage, or pancakes with scrambled eggs, or pancakes with fried eggs, or French toast or waffles, for example, or just the eggs and just the toast. On the side, slice up an orange. You got yourself a little bit of a lighter meal. You could have that at dinner time. Easy to prepare, fast to eat. Cleanup is a snap, and doesn't get better than that. I'm telling you. Another night, you could do potato, egg, onion, and pepper meal for dinner. But you could put that, you could have it either on its own, like that, or you could place it on a hard roll or Italian bread or semolina bread or toasted rye bread, the one without the seeds. I like that. You could just, the sky is the limit. Depends on what you like. French bread, or like I said earlier, or zero bread. It seems to work very well with the harder breads. Just mentioning this, so you can make either pepper and egg hero, or potato and egg hero, or potato, pepper, onion, and egg hero. So delicious. Just mix it all together, and you just do it. Saute the onions and the peppers till they're nice and soft, and then you add your eggs and already pre-cooked potato home fries to that. Delish. I'm telling you, fit for a king or a queen on the cheap. Very filling too. And it is a crowd pleaser. That I could tell you for a fact. Next, perhaps on a Sunday, you may want to do this with meat or without meat. You could do a baked ziti with a marinara sauce and just sprinkle some shredded mozzarella. Some people omit the ricotta cheese. Ricotta cheese is not cheap. price of that went up drastically. So you could just maybe keep it down to some shredded mozzarella. That's it. If you have some of those pre-made frozen meatballs that I mentioned in the earlier part of the week, you could toss that into your baked ziti and make life very, very simple. Have a garden salad on the side or some garbanzo beans with Italian dressing and some chopped onion with salt and pepper. Delish. Does not have to be complicated. Keep your meals as uncomplicated as possible. Everything that I mentioned yields a lot of food. It yields a lot of food, but it is not very, very expensive. And to me, very, very frugal and good for the budget. So I just thought I'd just pass along a couple of ideas just in case you couldn't come up with any. I'm sure you have great ideas. I'm going to ask you to indicate in the comment section below what are your favorite go to meals that don't cost a miniature fortune. Because these days, everyone could use a little help with their food budget. Thank you so much for being here, and I really do appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to this channel.